Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Apex Investor. Sorry for the unprofessionalism. I can't even speak English normally. Okay, sorry for the unprofessionalism. I can't really. I'm trying to transition these scenes, but it's just not working for me. So, without further ado, we're going to look at George's Twitter. It says, "Thank you, Photonics Media, for the interview. An excellent editorial on optical applications of metamaterials, the challenges and the opportunities." So there you go, Photonics Media, interesting. And he retweeted, "We look forward hosting Metamaterial CTO Dr. Jonathan Waldron as an invited speaker at SPIEXR. Okay, that's coming up. And what else did he tweet here? George on LinkedIn. Okay, I think I looked at that one already. Okay, so that's all for the Twitter. We're going to look at Wall Street Bets and the Metamaterial subreddit next. Are we recording? No, we're not recording. We're not recording. Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Metamaterial subreddit. And before I continue, the price of oil is above $80 a barrel, which is more than double what the price was back when the Torchlight assets were initially assessed, and the estimation at that point was $10 to $20. So I think you can make the assumption, a pretty safe assumption, that the dividend will be worth at least $20 to $40. I've heard some people say that the dividend could be worth $1 or less. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I know it's a pretty bold prediction to say 10, 20, or even 40, but the price of oil is the price of oil. You can't get around that reality. Okay, the first post we're going to look at is Real Duke Silver asking George, "Do we have any NDAs with a particular company that makes smartwatches?" I think they're talking about Apple. And he responds, I don't see the second image, so okay. Next. No, nothing. Oh, here. More than one. Whoa, okay. I love this tweet. That's great. Wow. Did he just breach an NDA by saying that? Oh, man. Okay, all right, guys. All right, it's on. Metamaterials is so on. I'm full in. Once I get the ability to buy more stock, I'm buying more stock like ASAP. Wow. Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. I mean, it doesn't even have to be Apple. It could just be anybody. It could literally be anybody. It could also be Garmin, and that would be big. It could be Fitbit. It could be anyone. But that is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, next post. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we're recording, but I'm not sure. Anyway, the next post is Glucowise comments on Stocktwits. George is dropping some perspective. You can put it that way, perspective. I think bombs. Dropping some bombs in terms of Glucowise. On Stocktwits, I figured I'd condense it here for an easier read through. Thank you. It's time for some Glucowise DD. Since I see a ton of information and genuine interest, I'll start in this post giving you some key background info and some key historical events that happened to the industry and Glucowise and how we see this product progress. You can ask questions if you like. Warning, this is a complex topic. It needs a lot of research into. You might have more questions than answers by the end of this. To start, I'd like to share some information by the FDA on how such non-invasive devices are classified. Notice slides 14 and 16. Two different classes, 2 and 3. The difference is that in class 3, the device is continuous, and in slide 12, only 8% are listed in class 3. Okay. Take a note on this very insightful article by The Verge. Many of the top companies like Google, Apple, Samsung have been trying ways to develop their own glucose monitor. However, as a gadget, that is having no intentions to fully take them through any medical trials. And that's one of the most important things Ken Rice brought up in the interview with Sterling Stocks, that one of the most important things that these medical companies and big pharma companies look for in terms of investing in or collaborating with a company that makes a invasive glucose monitor is human data. They want to see the numbers. They want to see the research. They want to see that this product works as advertised. That's what they want to see. Proof of concept and proof that it works. So even if Apple settles on a strategy that somehow manages to non-invasively bypass the skin's barrier, even if it develops a device that accurately measures blood glucose, there's still the hurdle of FDA approval. It's very different to be a medical device manufacturer versus a consumer product manufacturer. That's a good point. Apple could do it, but it would certainly be a big change. A non-invasive glucose monitor would probably fall under the category of a Class 3 medical device that's reserved for products unlike anything else in the market that could seriously harm a patient if they failed. It requires a company get what is called a pre-market approval, a process that can take many years. Does Meta believe Glucowise falls under Class 2 or Class 3? And that's the key question. When we started MediWise, our first patent and invention was not for a device. We invented a film that makes the human skin transparent. That is really... How does a film make human skin transparent? That is incredible. That is beyond people's wildest dreams, I would think. To an incoming sensing or imaging wave. Okay, the skin was the barrier. The skin barrier was the fundamental physics problem to solve. Okay, they did this with the metamaterial designed films, exactly like the ones they had at the booth at CES last week. This was the foundational patent for MediWise, which they proved works. How did they come to this idea? Doing research at Queen Mary University in London for 3 years, the research was to develop new wearable and implantable sensors. Our other co-founder on the MediWise side, Dr. Panagiotis Kosmas, from King's College, a world-renowned medical imaging expert, was working at the time on an early detection breast screening system using radar. Wow. It doesn't use non-ionizing radiation, so it's 100% safe. Amazing. When he explained this to me back in 2009, that the skin was one of the most important issues that he had with the accuracy of his system, I know that I had the answer right away because I had been designing metamaterial filters and resonant devices since 2003. Dr. Kosmas, my friend and co-founder, is the biggest skeptic I've met. That's good to know. A few months ago, he left a high-tenured position at King's. He is our VP for biomedical applications, and he's building our team in Europe to finish what we started. Wow. This is a big post. This is very important information. Okay. It didn't matter what class the devices were. We were on a mission to prove that metamaterial science is here to change the world. Okay, this company is going to change the world. I've been saying this, but to just read it, this company is going to change the world. And yeah, this stock will go up, but maybe the greater value than just money is it's going to make people's lives better. That's priceless, isn't it? So it's going to help improve people's lives, quality of life, and things like that. It enhances brain imaging, breast cancer imaging, diabetes testing, and so on. Okay, let me just fast forward a little bit. Okay, it was going to be continuously measuring your blood sugar. They have a night version as well. This is a long post. When MediWise started the Glucowise development before the FDA document, almost everyone in the industry was working under a Class 2B certification. FDA certification is the key to be able to sell through insurance companies and therefore to be adopted faster. If anyone says they have a CE mark, please remember it is worthless on its own. Anyone can get a CE mark. Now here comes the catch. On average, a Class 2B takes 2 to 4 years to commercialize. On average, it requires $20 to $25 million investment at about $500 to $1,000K. I should say $1,000 per person per trial, so only 100 people total would be needed typically. It turns out that our T1D targeted Glucowise is a continuous monitor was reclassified as a Class 3 device. Wow. Is that true? On average, this is a over 5-year development with major clinical trial. It requires an average of $75 million investment. That's $10,000 per person per trial. Many Class 3 trials need over 10,000 people. So Glucowise was at a crossroads. Stop and make a gadget without caring about accuracy, reduce the scope to T2D, or continue on to find additional capital partners to complete the work for T1D, the highest level accuracy. Let me catch my breath. As of today, Glucowise.com has more than 27,000 people registered to receive news on the progress of these devices. We hired a CFO who comes with a huge amount of connections in the medical field and over 30 years of commercializing tech. We are attracting the largest companies who are offering their labs to do further tests with us. We designed 3 devices, the home hub with a Class 2 device, the original Glucowise for T1D with a smartwatch application. Okay, so we spoke about an Indian company that has similar technology, but I don't think they've gone through the same processes that Metamaterials have done in terms of certification and testing and all that. So I think Metamaterials might have cornered the market when it comes to Europe, in my opinion. Do you think Metamaterials will be the first to market with non-invasive testing? It doesn't matter who is first. It matters who is most accurate, especially the top and the bottom ranges. That is why we have chosen not to hype our medical products. They need to go through all the development cycles and regulatory paths. We have been successful in receiving funding from public sources, so to not affect our cash flow, and to finish critical phases in design and data collection before hitting the acceleration button. The science field is not something you can and should rush. Good point. Very good point. And yes, 10 years developing anything disruptive / breakthrough in the medical field is a very low number. Is Glucowise still a major priority for Meta? The only harm I see in having so many verticals is the inability to be the best at any one. This is partly why I guess he moved on from solar. We designed metamaterials on film. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit. It seems like this is a very, very good post. What advantages does Glucowise have over other companies? That's a good question. Like Abbott, who already has a non-invasive glucose monitor that is FDA approved. What products are you referring to? Abbott's Freestyle Libre is invasive and only lasts 14 days. These companies have great marketing, and here's the rest. If anything like Glucowise ever gets FDA approved, bye-bye market cap. So the challenge is not just on the product or technological or regulatory. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Bye-bye market cap? Oh, they're saying that it's going to go crazy. Okay, it's going to explode. What is the appropriate or approximate time frame on incorporating non-invasive glucose monitoring technology into smartwatches? I've seen articles saying Apple or Samsung were 1 or 2 years away, and others 7 to 10 years out. This would be a major breakthrough and a big opportunity. They've never been able to develop an accurate enough monitor, these smartphone companies. If you read the Verge article I posted, you will realize they never claim that the device is for people with diabetes. Wow, okay. This guy's really technical. So these big companies are not taking any risks. They want to make sure the tech works first. So they're not going to jump in and pretend it works, because they could get sued if it's not accurate and doesn't work as advertised. Okay, I've mistaken them for Sensonics. Been reading many articles on them. There's a crazy amount of info out there. It's easy to get lost. Sensonics, that's the stock that Trace Trades was pumping up, or talking about. Not pumping up, because it's a good stock. Sensonics is a device that is the size of a small pill that gets implanted in your arm as a continuous glucose monitor. As reported by Smith, a real challenge here, as with all implanted devices, is the lifetime of the sensor. It's a good point. Some have speculated that monthly recalibration for a non-invasive device would make it commercially successful. But with a device implanted under the skin that needs to be explanted, so it has to be taken out and replaced when it no longer provides accurate results, the pivotal replacement interval is probably between 6 months and 1 year, so it will last a while, and their success will probably be driven by how effective their anti-fouling technology turns out to be. There will always be the stigma of an incision to implant the device, even under a local anesthetic. That's a good point, yeah. It is invasive. And that may limit the market acceptance to some degree. I agree with that, yeah. Wow, so MetaMaterials has the best product in the horizon, or on the horizon, in terms of non-invasive glucose monitoring. What will be the competitive advantage of Glucowise? Most accurate or quicker? And where are we in terms of development? People want an accurate enough sensor, but most people don't realize that the finger strips are not 100% accurate. A few years ago, they were around 80% accurate when compared to intravenous data, the gold standard that exists today. We are mostly around 85%. I guess that's 80. The IV is 85%. Our vision is to provide unlimited testing and data, and the data is the key. Once you have enough data with enough accuracy, then predictive analytics can become the game changer in this industry. Okay. So that's very important to be accurate. Thanks, Dr. P. Is that Dr. Pelikaros? When would it be possible? Would it be possible to join with the EU big pharma companies like Merck to develop and go through FDA approval? Thanks for a long explanation. Okay. Would you be able to share what accuracy level Glucowise has based on your research? Not sure if that is in the paper. If over 85% being Yoda for big pharma companies is not so bad. I don't know what Yoda means there in that context. Good luck on this. I believe you'll find the best option. I'll hold the stock or buy more. The big pharma companies are some of the most conservative companies in the world, I think for a good reason. If you could pick Ken's brain at a future interview, he would tell you that these companies learned how to outsource almost everything to third parties to reduce risk exposure a long time ago. We have great business connections to all. They typically ask for more data, and when more data is produced, guess what they want next? That's right, more data. So it turns out that these pharma companies are great commercialization partners once you get your approvals from the FDA and so on, and you have a product finished, then you can partner with them. What's in it for them? Well, one interesting element is to help them prove their drug efficacy. What is the key drug in diabetes? Insulin. Why is efficacy important? Because that's how insurance companies rate their insulin drug products. So yes, there are a ton of good options for us and strategies. Thanks. My diabetic friend in Alberta asks me every few months about it, but he thinks Canada will be low on the totem pole for getting this to consumers. Is Canada a priority for Glucowise? We have 2 Canadians on our board that would benefit from this tech. We're working as hard as we can. Like someone else asked, small trials were done. Are we past trials or are more needed? There are always more trials needed, and they get bigger and more expensive. Okay, so they still need to go through more. As a frontliner of the medical community, would Glucowise be made available for us to use in the hospital setting? We may need a special FDA registration, but we have spoken to the U.S. Army and other hospital and healthcare providers. More to come. Okay. Okay, what's this question? Would Glucowise be made available to demonstrate when educating patients? Okay. Yes, it will be demonstrated. This is where we try it before you buy it. Seeing is believing is so critical in this industry. I like that answer a lot. Trying it before buying it. Seeing is believing. That's kind of like what Nintendo said before the Wii came out. Education takes time. From day one, we make the Diabetes UK a partner to get the feedback needed. I truly believe if we are successful, there will be a massive campaign to support people like your wife, frontline workers all over the world. George, is Ken okay with this? Is there a good way to report these fake companies pretending to sell Glucowise? That's a good question. We've tried many different ways. They are in Asia, and there are jurisdictions we cannot enforce. Okay, Dr. Palikara. So he's a doctor, as an MD, as well as someone who's invested in some biotech firms. I'm well aware of the FDA and other regulatory bodies, prolonging or even denying approval for little to no reason. So is this a concern that you have